The ball is in your hands. You are running at full speed. The try line is ahead of you. And instead of throwing the ball forward toward the goal, your teammate throws it backward, behind him, away from the points. Every new rugby fan sees this and thinks the same thing. Why would you do that? Why would you pass the ball in the wrong direction? But here is the thing. It is not the wrong direction. It is the only direction that works. And once you understand why, you will never watch a rugby match the same way again. Rugby has one rule that changes everything. You cannot pass the ball forward. The ball must always travel backward or directly sideways when thrown between players. This is called the forward pass law, and it sits at the very heart of what makes rugby different from every other ball sport on the planet. But why does this rule exist? And what does it force players and coaches to do? To understand it, you have to understand what rugby is actually trying to recreate. The game was built around the idea that you earn every single meter. There is no shortcut. You cannot simply throw the ball to a teammate standing closer to the try line. You have to carry it there yourself or find a way to move the whole team forward together. The backward pass law makes rugby a game of collective momentum. Every player on your team must be behind the ball when it is passed. That means to get the ball to a player in a better position, your entire team has to physically move forward first. The ball can only go backward, so the team has to go forward. Think about what that creates. 15 players all moving in the same direction, all pushing the same line, all working as a single unit. The backward pass is not a limitation. It is the engine of the entire game. Now here is where it gets counterintuitive. The backward pass actually creates forward movement faster than a forward pass ever could. When you pass the ball sideways or behind you, you are releasing it to a teammate who is running at full pace alongside you or just behind you, and who has more space, more options, and more momentum than you do in that moment. You are not giving up ground. You are redistributing the attack. This is what coaches mean when they talk about moving the ball wide. Jonah Lomu, the legendary All Blacks winger, did not get the ball by standing next to the try line waiting. He got it through a chain of backward passes that shifted the entire defensive line, created a gap on the outside edge, and delivered the ball into space at the exact moment his pace could do the most damage. Every one of those passes went backward. The result went forward. Steve Hansen, one of the most successful coaches in rugby history, described the game as a constant battle for space. You manufacture space by moving the ball, and the only way to move the ball legally is backwards. So elite teams become masters of making backward movement look like a forward attack. This is also why the shape of a rugby team matters so much. The 15 players are not randomly placed on the pitch. They are arranged in layers, forwards closest to the breakdown, backs spread wider behind them, so that a backward pass from one layer reaches the next layer at exactly the right angle and exactly the right speed. Every pass in that chain is technically going backward, but the whole line is advancing. Now you might be asking, what stops a team from just kicking the ball forward instead of passing it? And the answer is nothing. You can kick the ball forward at any time, but there is a catch. If your teammate is standing ahead of you when you kick, they are in an offside position and cannot play the ball until they get back onside. So even kicking requires the same discipline. Your players must be behind the ball to be involved. This is what makes the gain line so important. The gain line is an invisible line across the pitch at the point where the ball currently is. Every time your team carries the ball beyond that line, even by one step, the whole team can now use that new position as their base. The backward pass becomes useful again from a further point upfield. You win the gain line, you reset, and you attack again from a better position. The best teams in the world, the Springboks, the All Blacks, Ireland under Andy Farrell, obsess over the gain line. Every phase of play, every carry, every backward pass is designed to push that invisible line forward meter by meter until the defensive line breaks. And here is the final twist that most fans never realize. The backward pass is actually a weapon. When a team is highly skilled at passing quickly and accurately behind them, they can shift the ball from one side of the pitch to the other in just a few seconds. The defense has to chase it. They have to run sideways across the pitch to cover each new receiver. And as they do, they leave gaps. They lose their shape. They get tired. And then, in that moment, the ball arrives at a player with space in front of him and no defender close enough to stop him. The backward pass created that space, not despite going backward, because it went backward. So the next time you watch a rugby match and you see a player throw the ball behind him under pressure, do not think he made the wrong choice. Think about what that pass pass is doing to the defensive line. Think about where the ball is going next. Think about the chain of movement that backward throw just set in motion. The ball is in your hands. You are running at full speed. And now you know exactly why you pass it backward.